Hello, how are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. It is a Monday, and today we are back with the Radiant School Live. Hope you're ready for this one. It's going to be a good one. I'm excited about it. Yes, if you go on the IceGrenade.co.uk/school page, you'll be able to find more about each and every lesson. I'll go over there with you right now so you can see what I'm talking about. So here at the school, you'll find a table with every single lesson and when they're going to be. Every Monday we'll have a new lesson, a new assignment, and this is going to tell you what each episode's about. Okay, so if you think that you're a UI expert where you don't need any help with that, then you can skip that lesson. Yeah, that's cool. But say you really want to know how to work with Maya and how to port stuff, then you're not going to want to miss episode 10. Okay, maybe you want to see everything so you know what's coming up, so you can get ready for it. That's what you can do as well. So we have the lesson plan here every Monday from now on. We're gonna get cracking. But yes, you guys did such an amazing job, by the way, with all the different sheds that we had on the first episode. So thank you guys for all your submissions. This is really great work. I'm missing my sunglasses. Just put my sunglasses on, man. These monitors are bright. There we go. I feel better now. Look at that. Beautiful. Yeah, guys, so what is this all about? This is about planning your first project. You want to get into making custom zombie maps. You want to do it right. So today we're going to teach you guys exactly what you need to do. Why do you want to plan a project? Why don't you just start going and making stuff, okay? Because, you know, that's what you want to do. You like most people, they get in the driver's seat, they just want to race, you know? You want to go around those corners quickly, and you want to overtake people, you want to shift down, past other cars, and you want to just race around. Problem is, if you don't learn how to race the track, okay, you're going to end up crashing, okay? If you don't learn how to do corners properly, you're not going to be able to get your best lap time, okay? If you don't know about the wear and tear of the tires, okay, you're going to have problems, okay? Same thing with Radiant, with mapping, okay? You need to know that you can't just go in and make the thing that you want to make without planning anything, because you might come out with a map. You might even be a playable map, okay? But it's not going to be the best map that you could have made, and you'll probably waste a lot of time fixing things that you wouldn't have had to fix if you had planned it in the first place. We'll break it down, okay? Number one, okay, you're going to want inspiration. You're going to want an idea that is going to inspire you. If say you pick something that is kind of cool, like, hey, I want to make a nightclub. Nightclubs are cool. I like having drinks, go with friends and having a laugh, okay? But I just want to make a nightclub. But you're not that interested in nightclubs. You don't live for nightclubs. You kind of like them. So you think, oh, I'm going to make a nightclub, okay? That's awesome. No, don't do it, okay? Do something you love, okay? If you fucking love SpongeBob, okay, you know, you find it hilarious. You watched it when you're growing up, and it's like the best thing ever. You love all the memes, the SpongeBob memes. Make a freaking SpongeBob map, okay? if you're not that fussed about SpongeBob, don't make a SpongeBob map, okay? Do something that you think is absolutely awesome. And if you're struggling for ideas, try and think about things you love, movies that you love, music that you love, art that you love, channels and YouTubers that you love, and all the different things that like associate around the things that you love, and try and think, oh, how could that be twisted or turned or inspired to make something that I would love, you know? So start off with an idea, okay, that you love, okay? And you want this idea to be so good that when you think about it, you just want to get your hands on that keyboard and you want to start mapping, okay? You forget about everything else. You just want to work on that idea, okay? Because if you don't have an idea that drives you that way, that strongly, it might be two days in, okay? So say you're working for 4 hours on the map, okay? It's getting stressful, you're having problems, you're having a few issues here and there, but you're fighting them. You're smashing these freaking errors out of the way, left, right, and center, okay? But then all of a sudden, one of them comes along, and it's so freaking difficult. You give up. That's it. You delete the project. You get fed up. You're going to go work on the next idea, okay? That happens so often. That happens so often. It's sad that that happens at all, okay? But it happens quite a lot. And it all starts where they didn't go with the number one thing they need to do when you're planning. The idea has to be powerful to you, okay? It has to be great, okay? It could be Barbie land, okay? Because you love Barbies, okay? I won't, you know, I don't care what you like, okay? Everyone is entitled to like whatever the hell they like. Maybe you grew up loving Barbies. Yes, you did. I knew it. Your parents couldn't buy you an Action Man, so they bought you a Barbie. But you could never tell anyone. She had nice hair. I'm kidding. If you like Barbie, that's fine. I don't care. I grew up with Action Men, actually, like hand-me-downs. So yeah. But yes, all jokes aside, all silliness out the window. It is about the idea. If you have a strong, great idea, write it down. Okay. Think about how you can turn it into a map, because that will drive you. Every single issue that's really difficult and problems that's going to want to make you stop, that will help drive you through, okay? Because that will happen a lot. Making maps is not a straight path, okay? People think that when they make a map, okay, yeah, it's going to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to add in some decals, nice. And then tomorrow I'm going to add in some models, oh, nice. I'm going to build the walls and the barriers, nice. And I'm going to test it, it's going to be cool, nice. I'm going to change the colors of that, nice. I'm going to do this and go around here and all that'll be nice, okay? And then I should add a room there. That's cool. Oh, add a little Easter egg in there. Nice. And then, oh yeah, I'll do that. That would be awesome. Oh, and then I can release it. Great. And you'll be happy because yes, I made a map. Look, I did all these different things and I released a map. That is the biggest load of bollocks ever. Okay. It doesn't happen like that. Okay. You have an idea and it backfires, but then you find a better way to do it. Okay. So you're going backwards, but you're going forwards. Okay. Because you're moving. Okay. You'll have another idea and it might be really difficult, so it takes up a lot of time. But then you do something that works really quickly, you know? So the making a map is not a straight path, okay? It's kind of like bumping in the dark, okay? And depending on how good of a mapper you are and how and how long you've been mapping is how bumpy this road gets, okay? You know, if you're a really good mapper, it might be like this bumpy, okay? So some things take a bit longer than usual, but generally you're still going to make stuff, okay? But yeah, this is mapping, okay? Don't be afraid, okay? Don't give up when this happens, you know, when you've just got a setback, okay? Because you can get past it. Every single problem you have can be resolved in some form or another. It can be done. It can be done. So there's so many projects that I've done and then I've hit some wall, hit some problem, and it's taken me a day, 2 days, sometimes a week to sort it out. Sometimes I just throw the idea out the window and have to come back to it, and then I come back to it and then I think of another way to resolve it, and I pass it and then continue it. But yeah, don't be afraid is my second thing, okay? So just don't be afraid of bugs, okay? Don't be afraid of bugs or setbacks, okay? Because that's the number one thing, okay? The next the next thing is how we did roll slide, by the way. I don't think I've said hello yet. What's going on? Welcome, man. If I've missed anyone, say hello and I'll say hello back. But yeah. What we're going to go into next, okay, is some of the core fundamentals into a map that you need to think about, okay? When you're making a map, okay, I think of it like a table, okay? So this is a map, okay? This is your logic of a table, okay? So this is your typical table, okay? Tables have legs. Okay, I don't know if you realize that, but I'm gonna blow your mind. Tables have legs, my friend, okay? This table right here has 4 legs. I'm not gonna draw it proportionally because I don't want to get too tied into this. Yeah, it's gonna have different types of legs, but it's not that accurate. I'm drawing with a mouse. Give me a break, please. We're drawing a table here, okay? Yes, I know you can draw a better table than me. I don't care, okay? Thank you for coming to this TED Talk. Goodbye. Okay, my point is, okay, it's a piece of body legs. Fuck you, okay? Is My point is, okay, that tables are like human. No, no, maps are like tables, okay? If you want a good map, imagine that it's a nice, tall, strong table, okay? You can kick this table, okay? It doesn't matter. It's not going anywhere because you've made a good table, okay? You've made a good table, and I have not drawn a good table, okay? That's true. You made a good table, okay? But you want it to be strong, okay? So these are the pillars of making a good map. Number one, okay, is going to be the difficulty, okay? You want to make sure that when you are building a map, you don't make it too easy, because there is nothing worse on a map than a map that is too easy, because people will be so disinterested in it so quickly that by round 2 or 3, even round 1, they're just gonna go play something else. Okay, at the very best, they'll never play it again. They might play to the end and they'll never play it again. They won't recommend it, and it'll never be brought up again. You do not want that. Okay, so one of the most fundamental things for making a map, for a strong, solid map, is make it difficult. We're going to get into the 4 pillars, okay, of good maps, okay, good map making, okay. But the first pillar, okay, is number 1 is going to be the difficulty. Okay, when it comes to the difficulty, I'll actually go through these things first. Actually, I'll talk about the 4 pillars and then I'll go into detail. Okay, let's do that. How you doing, Cinched HD? How we do? Welcome, man. But yeah, so number 1 is the difficulty. If it's not difficult enough, people aren't going to like it. We'll get to what makes a good map difficult and what sort of difficulties there are, but we'll get to that later on. Number 2 is uniqueness and aesthetics and like how visually attractive the map is. Okay, so this is like the visual, the idea itself, and yeah, how enjoyable it is. Okay, so I could talk about these 4 pillars. Okay, so one of them is going to be fun. Okay, and aesthetics. Okay, I'm gonna simplify aesthetics. Okay, aesthetics just means looks. Okay, and the style. Okay, of the map. Okay, I'm just trying to think. I've talked about this before. I want to make sure that I say the same things this time around. Because the difficulty is one of the main things. I guess the size matters. Okay. And what else do we want to do? Okay, so yeah, the amount of custom stuff. So depth, okay, is gonna be another one. So size and depth is part of the same one, actually. Size and depth. And we've also got, what's the other main thing of a good map? Bug free is another thing. I think that comes into the style. Right, I'll get into this. I think I'm missing a pillar, but I will get back to it. So, yeah, we've got a blue leg, and we'll have a purple leg, okay? So, I'm going to just make this a bit more yellow. So, yeah, that'd be cool. Right, I'll make that one red as well. Make it a bit different. Cool. So, difficulty is the number 1, okay? The gameplay. Okay, gameplay is part of the bug-free, yeah. I'm just going to put that there. Gameplay, okay. And experience. Okay. The difficulty is the number 1 thing. When it comes to difficulty, there are several different ways that you need to design it into your map. And I'm going to go through them. The first thing is, on your map, okay, is about spacing. If you're looking down, like a top-down view, say that's a house, okay, and then we've got a road, okay, like this, okay, so this is a road, and then you've got another building here, okay, and then maybe you've got a tree here, okay. You got to think about where the player can go, okay. So walls here, walls are good, okay. Walls limit the player from being able to walk around too much, okay. When it comes to custom zombies maps you're going to make for Black Ops 3, one of the biggest element is going to be in the amount of space that you have, okay. If you design a map, okay, that is too open and the players can train around and they have like no difficult time whatsoever. So imagine this was the map, literally. What you see right here is the map. Players they can run around all they like. There's only a spawner here and a spawner here. So they know that they could probably just sit over here by the shed. They can look over and they can shoot at the zombies, knowing full well that behind them is absolutely fine. They can move back as much as they want. They can run to the side as much as they want. There's no threat, okay? When there's no threat, what's the point? They know they can do it, okay? They know that they can do it because all you have to do is point and shoot. And if they get too close, you can walk away. No problem, okay? That is one of the main things that makes a game fun, okay? The main thing that makes the game fun is when a player doesn't know that they can make it. They don't know if they can easily survive, but they want to give it a shot because something in their mind is saying, hey, I can do this. I can do this. I believe, okay? I believe. And everything around them is pointing to them saying, it's not going to happen, okay? That is called an epic gamer moment. It's actually, there is like a neurological talks on what the epic gamer moment is. Susan Greenfield has, okay, no, actually, no, she's against gaming. Forget her. I've met her, though. Hello, Susan. And she thinks video games is bad for people, but I don't think they are. I think some games could be, but my main thing about games is I think that it's actually really good for you. Problem solving, and yeah, general skills, whatever. That's another topic for another day. But yeah, the main thing is your brain is telling you that it's not going to happen, okay? But you want to be able to do the impossible, okay? So that is the fundamental driving force in a game, is you, the player, like wanting to do the impossible. Someone tells you there's something you can't do, and you slap them in the face, okay? Because you go and show them you can do it. You can smash this, okay? They ain't stopping you, okay? Nobody's stopping you. You've got this. You've done this. They can shut it because you've just gone and done it, okay? Regardless of what they said, okay? So that is it, okay? The epic gamer moment. The big thing is when you are making a map, you want it to tell the player in multiple ways that they're not going to survive, okay? But you give them the ability to, okay, through the weapons that you give them and through the gentle pushes in places, okay? And then it's based upon their skill to cross the boundary, cross that bridge, and get to the victory, okay? So difficulty is the number one thing, okay? I've just spoken about how that implies to the map design, okay? So I'm just going to cover that real quickly again. But when you're designing a map, you want to make sure that things are close together, okay? If you've got a big open area, you probably don't want players to go there. There's multiple ways that you can allow players to go there. And say there's a big open area, maybe you put some water in there, you put some sludge in there, some lava. Lava's going to burn the player, so they can't stay there for very long. So although it's a big area, there's a lot of lava there, they're not going to be able to stay there long because they'll die. So that's the balancing out there. Water, when you have water, you want to put like a slow down trigger in there. It's going to stop players from being able to go through the water really quickly. So they're not going to go in the water very long, so it's not going to open it up. Grass, you can have some really thick grass that slows the player down. So you want to have, if you have an open area, one way to pull back and make it harder so it's not too easy, because that's the biggest thing in zombies. The amount of space you give them makes it easier and easier to survive. The less space you have, the harder and harder it is to survive, because players have to quickly jump past zombies, And if they're gun, that's another factor that I'll get to, is the weapon balancing. But yeah, one of the main factors is going to be about the map distancing, okay, and object distancing and the clipping of the map. You want to make sure that the space is limited, okay? That is one of the main things, okay? The next thing is power-ups, bonuses, perks, weapons, traps, okay? So I'm going to call it like abilities. That encompasses all of that, okay? Powers, weapons, everything, okay? The abilities need to be limited, okay? One of the things that you can do when designing your map, okay, is and let me get a picture of Verruct up. So okay, so we got a picture of Verruct on the screen now. So Verruct's one of the original maps. It's the Mental Asylum one. Players start on either side. And look, this is where players start here, in this room here. And actually, I've drawn this shows the top hallway, not the bottom hallway. But yeah, the thing I'm going to tell you about that makes this map quite good is, first of all, you got limited space. Like here, there's a bit of space here. That's why people usually will try and camp around there. And this top area around here, there's generally a lot of moving room. But one of the things you want to do in terms of the powers and abilities and difficulty is, and at the start, okay, this is one of the fundamental things. The wall buys that you'll find are going to be the worst ones, okay? Pistols, single shot rifles, okay? Low powered weapons. You do not want to give players in the starting rep, and you do not want starting area, you do not want to give them a thunder gun, okay? You do not want to give them an M16, okay? These are too powerful. You want to start them off light, okay? You want to give them something so if they waste all their ammo, they've got something else they can pick up quickly. If they don't like a starting gun, they've got something else they can switch to, okay? Give them crap. Kino, start with the Olympia, okay? You've got the MK14, okay? Or the Shiva, or the not even the L-Car yet, but the Shiva or the RK5, okay? These are sort of starting weapons that you want to give them. Because if you make it too easy, straight away, they haven't earned it. They haven't earned it. You got to... What this leads into the next bit, okay? We're gonna talk into fun and how fun is like breadcrumbs, okay? And what I mean by breadcrumbs. We'll get into that, and that kind of links into the difficulty here a little bit. So we'll probably cross boundaries here. But yeah, D-Knight, what's going on? Welcome, man. I see you, Rishabith. Hello, Rishab. Welcome, my friend. Anyone else who's tuning in? Hello. Hope you're having a good one. We're diving in deep today into planning your first project and what makes, how to make a good project, what you need to think about when you're planning. Okay, so at the moment, we're on the 4 pillars of map making, the table of map making to make a good map. We're talking about difficulty. Okay, so progression, okay, the risk reward balancing. Yeah. We're doing a live tutorial right now. We'll get into a map. I've got a map idea that I want to do throughout this tutorial. It's a really cool idea. It's light and simple, and you guys should be able to follow it quite easily. But yeah, so breadcrumbs and building up. Give them crap to start with, crap weapons, okay? Make them have to buy a door, okay? This leads into a few different things I want to talk about. I want to talk about the 3-path principle. And I want to talk about, we'll talk about 3-path principle in a second. Just writing it there so I don't forget. But okay, then what you want to do, doors do multiple things. Okay, doors, you can make a whole map without doors. That is fine. Okay, but you're taking away a thing a player does. Okay, in the game there are certain things players do that's rewarding. Okay. If you don't have a door, okay, imagine that the sofa on the stairs in Verruct isn't there, okay? You can just go from the spawn up there, and that's cool, okay? That'll be all right. No, you're wrong. It won't be all right, okay? The reason it's not all right is because you've all of a sudden taken away a dopamine hit from someone, okay? Yes, buying a door, saving up the money to buy a door is a dilemma you're thinking about, okay? Do I spend that money on a gun, or do I spend that money on a door so I can get to a better gun quicker and risk it, might run out of ammo, might have the knife, okay? People are making these decisions. You're making people think, okay, when they're playing. You're giving them something to do. And these decisions while shooting is fun, okay? If you take away the decisions people have to make and you just give it out to them on a plate, people aren't going to take it, you know? People don't want to do that. People want to have to make decisions for themselves, and those decisions affect what happens to them, okay? Because then you get the reward of, okay, I bought the door, I ran out of ammo, but I stabbed, and I managed to buy that weapon in the next area that is more powerful without wasting money on the first weapon in the first room. I feel good. I'm a clever bastard, okay? I feel great. You know, these little things, okay, that are making people feel like, you know, they're good at something, they're doing something right. You know, you are like rewarding them, you're baiting them into making them like feel better about what they're doing, you know. And while they're doing that, they're, you know, it's also, yeah, money management as well. When you're killing zombies, okay, and you're shooting zombies, okay, players' points are just going to go up and up and up and up and up, okay. If you don't give them anything they need to spend points on, their points just go up. They'll be able to buy anything, do anything, you know. And where's the fun in that? Some of the fun thing is, oh, I can only just about make it to get that ammo, or, you know, these little trying to survive on is like, you know, someone throwing a rope out of a helicopter and you're jumping off a building because it's about to collapse and you grab hold of it, but that rope was only like 2 inches away, instead of the rope just sitting there and, you know, having a seatbelt you can just slap on. These like major risks that people take and the rewards they get for taking them is like builds up the fun inside, you know, the players are having. So by limiting the amount of monies people have, you're forcing them to have to go and kill stuff, you know, to get more money, you know, and which is the fun part, shooting zombies. So you're forcing players to go shoot zombies because they need to spend the points on things. So yeah, you want to put things in the map that people have to spend their points on so that they're encouraged to kill zombies. Because imagine that there's no doors. Imagine that guns are free, perks are free, okay? The box is free, the Bible ending is free. So players just have to go around shoot zombies, okay? And then when they're finished, they can just go over and press a button. Done, I'm out the map. Well, what's that going to achieve? Well, they can still get perks, they can still get guns, they can still pack a punch, they can still kill zombies. They're not having to spend money. Great, they can do all this. You'll find out, like, very quickly, people won't want to play. They'll just give up, you know? Think about it like a mod, okay? All games these days have mods. GTA mods, okay? Every game, like back in the day, mods, okay? You can play a game like GTA, you know, and as soon as you add in mods, everything's unlocked. You can get every weapon, you get every gun, you get all unlimited money. All of a sudden, you're bored as shit. You don't want to play the game. What is the point? Oh yeah, they've just released the new buildings that you can get and this new car. Oh my god, you know, I'm gonna work really hard to play it so you can play with your friends. You're working towards a goal of being able to afford this new thing so you can unlock it, and then, oh my god, I'm awesome. I managed to get that car. If you feel like you're rewarded for all your hard effort, that's part of the game, okay? If you just give it to them, they're not going to even bother driving it, you know? People like to work towards something and like to achieve stuff within a game, okay? And if you don't make them have to work for it, then it's not fun, because people love working towards something, you know? Love the effort they put in is something they can take out. If you give them something on a platter, it's no good, okay? It doesn't work. It's not how it works, you know? So in zombies, we have perks, we have guns, we have doors, we have zip lines, we have quest things, all sorts of things, traps that all take points from the player, because that's the main currency, points, okay? Your score, your moolah, your money, you know? You want to make sure you're trying to take that money out of the player's hands through things that they do as much as you can, okay? Because that will push them on to go and earn more, okay? And that's the next thing is, so we've talked about decisions players have to make, okay? And we talked about the economy and the points, okay? that players have to spend. So you're going to have doors that you're going to want to buy. I'm going to talk about the 3-path rule, okay, which isn't very prevalent in Verruct, but it is in about 90% of tryout maps, okay, and most good custom maps that you'll find, okay. You want to give players a decision from the start, okay. Verruct is probably the worst map I could have ever picked to do this. Think about Therese, okay. Whenever you go anywhere from the start room, you have usually you have 2 or 3 ways you can go. The player has to make a decision. Do I go left or do I go right? Or do I go behind me? You know, where do I go? You want to give players opportunities to make decisions that will then affect their game. And one of those decisions that players make, okay, is also part of the fun. And another ground is the exploration, okay, that players will have. Is giving players choices. So from the start room, you want to have at least 2. 2's a minimum. 3 is great, okay? 2 or 3 ways that the player will be able to go from there, okay? So every room that you're sat in, you know, whether it's the first room or the second room that you've bought to, or the 3rd room or the 5th room, wherever it is, there should be multiple ways you can go. At least 2 minimum. 3 is better than 2, okay? So that the player is always thinking, what way should I go? And then another thing is, in a lot of, well, what maps am I trying to think of here? A lot of tryout maps don't do this, but this is a really good thing you can do. I mean, you can do this in some maps. Most tryout maps, you're going to want to open up every single door. But in a lot of good custom maps, you can actually decide when you want to keep certain doors closed to have a strategy of where you want zombies to be able to come from. Okay? So, Kino, perfect actually. Yeah, Kino, at the back, most people will keep one of the 2 doors closed. Either the engineer room door or the walk-in cloakroom, what do you call it? Dressing room door closed. You're either the stairs, you know, the stairs, engineer room, or the cloakroom door closer kind of person, okay? I personally always kept the room with the stairs up to the engineer room closed. The top left door, you know? You're looking at the stage, it's to the left. You keep that door closed to stop the zombies from being able to come from that door, you know? Thank you for scares. Perfect example. But yeah, so you want to think about that when you design a map. And that room has 3 different doors, okay? So when you're making a map that has a layout with all these different routes, players can decide whether they want to keep certain doors closed, which will help give them advantages to certain things. One, it might slow them down when they're trying to do the Easter egg, which is not great. So more advanced players are definitely going to open it. Or maybe they're trying to save money to try and do some sort of strategy. So they won't open all the doors that they don't need to open, you know? So think about that when you're designing a map that, okay, think of it as like optional doors that you may not have to open. There's other ways to get to them. So giving players multiple ways to go through the terrain is better than just limiting them to one specific route they got to take, okay? So think of Zetspo. You can take that zip line, zoop straight in, or you can just run round and down and in, you know? It's up to you. But they give the player the option, you know, to take a zip line or to take the route. People might go, I don't want to waste any money on a zip line. I'm just going to freaking walk around. That's fine. You know, you're giving players options. Options and choices are a good thing because it makes the player think and it makes them reward themselves. Their brain is rewarding them. Okay, well, I saved money. I feel good. You know, you're a fucking clever guy. You fucking saved 500 points. Now I can spend that on this thing and I'm going to unlock that quicker. You're going to be able to get through there and do the mission quicker. And then I've done the Easter egg before you have because I didn't waste those points, you know? So people will have these internal conversations when they're playing a map, you know? And you're providing them with these abilities. So it's way better than not giving them options. So pathing, I've got a great tutorial on zoning. Check out my zone like Treyarch video. It shows you how you can make any sort of layout. Like I literally do like a cell grid like map in that tutorial, and it means you can open up the world any order and it works perfectly. No flaws, no bugs, no issues. So if you want to know how Treyarch zone, how to zone like Treyarch, how to zone like a pro, go check out that tutorial. I have a few tutorials on zoning, so make sure it's the one with the grid that says zone like Treyarch. How we doing? Nightmare, hello, welcome, man. I hope you guys are doing good. So yeah, we've talked about doors, and that relates to zones and spending money, giving players an objective that they have to, you know, use their money and work towards things. And we talked about spacing. You don't want to have places that are too open. If you make a big car park, you know, it's too open. Players are going to run around. There's no difficulty. We've spoken about the difficulty, okay? But think about, oh, okay, so this is something I did touch on actually, is there's a big area, but I've got to have it big because, okay, car parks are big. I can't just make a small car park and have a big cinema. I've got to have a big car park, otherwise it won't look right. Right, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. You can restrict it in loads of ways. One, visual. You can make fog in certain areas so visually people can't see in there. Two, you can have a freaking lamp that's crashed over, you know, and then it just blocks off between hedges, so you've cut off half the car park. You can put some cars. It's a car park. Put some fucking cars in there, okay? Limit it so people have to go around the cars. You know, there's lots of ways you can think about how to limit things. Debris, a meteorite's crashed in, smashed a massive hole. There's a big gaping hole. People can't go down there. It's a big hole. It's a bit obvious. You can't just drop down there. It's a big fucking hole. You know, maybe there's a big meteorite in the way. You can't walk through a meteorite. So there's lots of different ways you can think about how to block players, okay? Cars, yeah, just get some cars in there. Block things up. Make it very limited. The player space has to be limited. Think about it logically. If you're building a car park, use some cars, use some street lamps, use maybe there's a tanker that's coming and crashed over, it's on its side, and now there's like fuel that's on fire. So there's fire, and that people can't walk through the fire. Well, they can walk through it, but it's going to burn them, so they can't stay in the fire. So there's a big open area, but half of it's like town. Think town. You've got the lava, cracks, the lava. It's a big open areas, but you have to make sure you have to jump and time it right where the zombies are. So although there's room, it's limited and it's not comfortable room, okay? So if you make a big area, you want to make it uncomfortable. You want to make sure the players can't stay there or are forced to move around. I've spoken about so these different damaging things, so fire, lava, water, sludge, thick bushes, things that slow the player down. You can also have more spawners, okay? That's the cop-out way. More spawners. Instead of just having one spawner in a car park, make it all over the place. Have loads of cracks and all sorts of different dirt piles and stuff. So when you're in that car park, they spawn from like 20 different nodes, okay? So where players will soon learn out, oh, I don't want to be in this car park because they might pop up behind me, in front of me, to the sides. They popping up everywhere. They're mad over this car park, you know? They love this car park. So they're not going to feel comfortable there. The space is there, but they're going to get crowded, and crowded messes up the train. So yeah, that's the second one. Spawns, okay? Spawns will greatly affect that, the difficulty. So yeah, we talked about the 3 paths. We talked about the points and abilities. I will just reiterate. So in your starting zones, you want to have really crap weapons. And then the further you get away from the spawn, the more doors you have to open to get to the room where you put a wall by. You want to scale like the weapons, okay? Because an Olympia, okay, you got an Olympia and a thunder gun, completely different fish, okay? Like, they're completely different. You can't put a thunder gun in spawn. So think about weapons and try and scale them in your mind, okay? You got your single shot rifles, your RK5s and that, okay? Not that great. Think about your semi-automatic SMGs. They're kind of good. Limited on ammo though. Limited on power. Okay, they're the sort of your L cars, maybe your CUDA for the sort of second rooms. You know, you have to spend some points to get there. They're not too powerful. Maybe the CUDA's a little like a third room option. Then you got when players have had to save up and spend to get to like 3-4 doors away, then you can start putting in assault rifles, okay? But when I'm saying put in assault rifles, don't give them the bee's knees. Don't give them that sugar. Don't give them that honey, okay? Don't give them freaking an LSAT or a freaking trying to think, like, what's a really FFAR, you know, or a dingo. Those guns are like the cream on the top of the pudding, you know. They should become very light, okay? Players should have to work towards it. Either you can give those out as an Easter egg reward, okay? Or from the box and luck, okay? Because you don't want to just give these weapons out, okay? You want players to have to earn for them. Generally, the only other rule to that is if there's a room that you can't unlock for a very long time. I'm talking like 10 minutes plus into playing, and it's a really dangerous area, and there happens to be an LSAT on the wall. That's fine. You know, if there's an Easter egg room, finally get to, and you can have an LSAT there. Don't give them an LSAT where people like to camp. Make it somewhere really like dangerous. You know, down a corridor with loads of places where the zombies can come out. That's where you can put an LSAT, because people will risk their life going to get that ammo or going to get that gun. So yeah, 9 times out of 10, don't even put those great weapons up. Don't put wonder weapons on the walls. Wonder weapons should only come as rewards or from the box, okay? If you put them on the walls, it's gotta, you know, it's a bit crap actually. When you got these bonus rooms and you give people wonder weapons, it's not great. But you can do it for like, there's certain like times where it's acceptable. Some really difficult Easter egg that someone's, you know, played well and they finally finished it out, and there's a room that you can unlock for something, that's fine. But I did the Shrek Ogre Ray, you know, that's hidden behind a secret wall, and that's after you've had to do all the altars and do Fred's quest and get the actually, do you need the power on? I don't think you need the power on yet, but yeah, you have to go through a whole lot, and then after that it's 20k. You know, I didn't make it easy for them. You don't want to ever give people the chance to be, you know, power through the map easily. So yeah, scaling is very important. Okay, the size and the depth is quite important on a map. Okay, and when I'm talking about depth, there are very, very, very different standards between people. So I'm going to sort of go through some very simple examples here. Okay, so this here, no offense, Mr. Yeah, Bill Eilish one. This is the very bottom of the bucket. Okay, you don't want to release a map like this. Okay, because I can see it's the default skybox. It's got 3 textures. You got a 4 textures, a ground texture. You got a metal texture here. You've got a brick texture, and you've got the default texture. You don't want to see this default texture. As soon as people see the default texture, a part of them inside dies. Okay, because they just feel like, oh, what the hell, man? Like, I wanted to play a zombies map, not a I don't even know, some half-assed piece of shit. Like, I honestly, like, don't ever release something with this material here. This material is meant to help you line up and block out, get an idea of the perspective of what it might be like in the game, you know. So it's fine when you're building a map to use these materials, but when you release something, you don't release it like this, okay? So in terms of the depth, right, you want to make sure that you've gone past that level. That is the absolute, that's your 0. That's your don't give a crap release. Never do that. Okay, don't do that. Okay. Who's Moon? I don't know this guy. Okay, but we're gonna use this as an example. This here, this is pretty good. I mean, they got something very interesting here, but actually the coloring here and the way light reflects here is not quite right. There's no blending going on. If there is, it's very, very limited. These look like they're growing out of sand, which is not quite right. The placement of stuff's quite nice. It's a little bit organic, which is cool, but the lights are very basic. Like, this is what you'd call probably a 2nd level map, maybe a 1st level map. It's just about playable in terms of how it looks. It doesn't really excite me. It doesn't excite a lot of players, okay? Because it just feels like it's missing a lot, okay? Like, this is 2 textures. This beach and this sea, it's 2 textures. Nothing else, okay? You could have all sorts of stuff here, all sorts of cool blending, okay? But it's just not been bothered. I haven't bothered to do it. So the next thing is, yeah, you want to blend. You want to make it as beautiful as you can. Add lots of flavor in there, lots of detail, lots of nice stuff. I feel like this person didn't bother to look at how to blend textures and just release this. But in their defense, this is a very interesting looking layout, and the idea itself is really cool. Like I love a little jungly beach vibe. Absolutely awesome. But yeah, it's very bland. Like the lighting is very bland. You know, it looks like there's a whitewash layer over it. There's no punchy colors or dark black corners or anything. There's nothing like juicy about it. It just feels kind of like your oatmeal breakfast. Okay, I don't know what oatmeal is. Your porridge breakfast. Okay, here's about the pinnacle of the craziness in this map. You want to make something that excites the people who are going to play it. They want to look at your workshop and go, "Oh my god, that looks so good! Got to get my hands on." Hey Jeff, come on man, we're playing this map tonight. Put down your girlfriend, okay? We're gonna play this map, or your boyfriend. I don't care where. We're playing this map, okay? But you want to make sure that what you've made is visually like beautiful, fun, punchy, vibrant, juicy. Okay, maybe the juicy, vibrant state is not like your what you're going for. You're looking for a horror. That's cool. Go horror, because horror can go crazy and twisted and like mad. So you want to go somewhere where, with the visuals, it needs to look enticing. It needs to look like fun. Okay, when you've got one texture and no blending, it's not cool. It is not cool. So it doesn't matter how good it is. It's gonna just make some people die inside and not want to play it. Like, it's so sad to see projects that come this far and haven't got like the depth in the design. So let me take Wanted as an example of a good map here. There was another layer which I'll go to, but actually, yeah, here. Look at this, man. We got really dark darks. We got really bright brights. We got a theme that's like consistent throughout of an old vibe. We got lots of blending going on in the ground there. It all feels nice. It feels real. It feels crazy. The lighting is really cool. Going here, we got dirt built up in the corners. We've got bits of crap on the floor, like bullets and whatnot. A bit more dirt in places. It's really nice, really cool. And you look on the ceiling here. You've got cleaner bits around here, but then over here you got more grime and more dirt and gunk. So the differences and the textures and the way they've blended stuff in, it's really nice. It's really inviting. It's enjoyable because it looks like this guy's put a lot of effort into this. And it looks awesome. It looks more real. Okay, it looks more like you just want to go and explore and see what's where. Because when you see one of the first maps that I showed, people take one look and then okay, the whole map's going to be like that. The whole map's going to look disinteresting. It's going to be just, there's no silhouettes, nothing interesting to look at. But Wanted, and there's a lot of great maps like this. Like Zero Stone's a great Nightmare, RDV. There's so much depth and character in every little corner. Just the way it looks is enough to pull the player in and make them want to go around and explore, which is part of the fun factor. Okay, the fun factor is how fun the map is to play. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of driving forces in zombies. The points and unlocking the reward system you give it yourself when you're working through a map. The other thing is just the exploring. People like to go into the unknown, and they like to go find out what's there. That is huge in a map. You want to just, and this is going back to the breadcrumbs. You want to feed people in. You want to give them a little bit of the sauce so they want the whole thing. Okay, and with the breadcrumbs, you like, with this could be Easter eggs. It could be the way you've designed the map, but you don't want to give them everything on like straight away. You want to lead them into things. Okay, so with the design, if a map is really beautiful and really nice, I can spend my whole time just looking around the map like, oh my god, look at that, that's really cool, that's really cool, that's really cool. The cool factor is making you love the map, make you want to play because you want to go check everything out. Forget the zombies, forget having like the enjoying part of like risk reward and all of that. The aesthetics are selling it to you, like how it looks, the style of it, the theme. It's really like the theme's important, okay? You know, and the consistency, all that, all adds up, okay? All adds up. So we want to try and achieve that as much as you can. Yeah, breadcrumbs is what makes a player want to go and explore the rest. Yeah, to get out of the map is one of the biggest things, I think. Bible ending in a map for me is huge, okay? Like most maps will either have a Bible ending or they'll have an ending after an Easter egg. The players want to have a goal that they've got to go and achieve, okay? If you don't give them a goal, then you've got to make it, then there's only like a few acceptable criteria outside of that. One is a map that's so bloody hard that you're bound to die within 20 minutes, okay? That just the ability of survival is mind-blowing. That is the only acceptance, okay? Everything else has to have a Bible ending or some way of completing it, okay? Because players aren't going to want to just play it forever, you know? Because you might make it a really cool map, but 30 minutes plus, what's going to keep the player going? Okay, what's going to keep them running? Breadcrumbs, okay? Breadcrumbs is important. Nightmares Out. Yeah, Zing, Nightmares Out. It's awesome, dude. Absolutely awesome. So yeah, breadcrumbs comes in the form of visual interest. So if you put a car out there that looks like, you know, that people will drive it, people want to get out there and drive that car. You know, maybe there's part of an Easter egg where there's a car that you can build. Like, give players something to do. Something that, okay, I found this. That means that this must be somewhere. Let's go get that. Exploring is part of the fun, and breadcrumbs is is huge in maps. You want to keep giving them little things like that they can find and help push them along. So you might have a bridge that's broken. Okay, so players can find some wood, or maybe they've got an axe, they can chop down a tree, they got some wood, okay, they can take the wood, but there's too much wood, they need to find a wheelbarrow, so they got the wheelbarrow, now they can move the wood, they move the wood over to the bridge, now they've got everything they need to build the bridge, but they haven't got any nails, so they need to go over to the scrapyard, they need to get some nails, they come back, they can start building the bridge, now you've built the bridge, you can go over to the next area, okay, gone to the next area, oh my god, there's a really cool perk here, got a cool perk, now, you know, it looks like there's a tomb thing here. What the hell does this do? Okay, not too sure. It says come back when the time's right. Okay, well, all of a sudden, the map's gone really dark. Okay, and now go back over to it. Oh, it says we need to fill this up with souls or something. So you want to keep leading them on. You don't want to give them everything at once. Okay, that's the next thing. Too much choice can be a bad thing. Okay, they've done market research in shops. You know, when they put out 30 different flavors of jam, okay, people go up to this stall, they look at it, and they walk away. There's too much choice. People don't want your bloody apricot jam or your bloody like almond jam or something. They want 3 options, 3 to 5. I think is the I might remember that wrong, so do go look online. But the science behind choice and generally 3 is a good number. When you're giving people something they want to do, you don't really want to give them more than 3 jobs, okay? Because that's too much to think about and then it becomes a chore, okay? So, and then they don't want to make a choice. So when it comes to Easter eggs, you want to breadcrumb it in. So you want to keep having like little like steps towards the finish, okay? And little rewards along the way. Because if they're not getting any rewards along the way, what's the point in doing it? You know, other than the final reward of completion, which is quite a strong thing, but it's not really good to get little rewards, you know. So think about 9. My brain's gone funny there. It's 9, isn't it? Yeah. Black Ops 4. You don't have to, but you can do the challenges. But if you do them quite early on, you can get yourself a little pack-a-punch pistol, which is great. You know, the reward for completing something is something people will chase and do, and then that will help them through the Easter egg, you know? So these little top-ups, these cherry on the tops, you know, are really beneficial. People love to do this. Love to do this. People like to know little ways they can improve their game. It's great, you know. Alternative ways to get around, chopping down a tree, breaks a path through the forest. All of a sudden there's a new path or something, you know. So always give players it's like different things they can do, but try and keep it limited to a few, to try and not give them everything at once, you know, because you want to lead them on to like build them up, you know, and make the rewards and the prizes bigger and bigger, you know, because you don't want to give someone something too good, because then it won't be as good when they you know, later on. So build things up. The next thing is the game itself has a difficulty that increases. You've got more and more zombies each round, and harder and harder to kill zombies each round. Okay, so you want to make sure you scale things up according to that. People don't need wonder weapons, you know, early on. You just don't need them, because you can stab a zombie in round 1, it kills them. Around 20, you can't just stab a zombie. Okay, unless you got some special perk or some amazing melee weapon, you can't just go around stabbing a zombie. You need stronger weapons. So build it up. Okay, so we talked about difficulty. There's probably more I can go into that, and I probably will cover that more later on. We've got the style and the aesthetics and how important that is. The size and the depth, we'll get into that in this. We sort of covered that. You want to give players a lot to explore. Don't just make one room. Okay, don't make just 2 rooms. Make a few different choices, so people have to do different things. Okay, the depth as well. Okay, it's your first project. Okay, your first project. You don't want to try and go and make the next RYZEN. Okay, you don't want to go and make the next Outbreak. You don't want to go and make like the next freaking Leviathan or Wanted or something like that. If you're working on your own first map, keep it simple. Okay, keep it really simple. You got your favorite idea, this lovely idea that you've come up with. Okay, and you know, maybe it's a Taco Bell or something. Okay, I think we've already got a Taco Bell, but keep it simple. Okay, if you got your Taco Bell, actually, let me just do that as like a top-down view. You got your Taco Bell cafeteria area. You got the kitchen attached to it. Okay, then maybe you got some sort of foyer area there and some back office there. Okay, and then you got your car park area here. Okay, and then maybe there's like a warehouse here as well. Maybe keep it to like that, or something along those lines. Okay, so that's your playable area. Okay, you got a few rooms, a lot of variety. Okay, but you're not making a whole city. Okay, don't go too far. Okay, when you go fishing and you've never been fishing before, you don't try and catch a freaking 100 or 500 kilo shark. Okay, you just don't do that. Okay, maybe if you're with someone that's good at that sort of shit, then you can maybe do that. You're gonna go catch some bream, some perch, some little fish. Okay, so nothing, some rainbow fish or whatever. Nothing crazy, you know. Start small. Okay, the reason you're gonna start small is because you're new to mapping. Okay, you're new to mapping. Okay, you're new to mapping. There's going to be a lot of things you haven't learned. Okay, you can get away with not much. You can start making stuff with not much. Okay, not much skill. But as time goes on, a year goes on, 2 years goes on, you're going to pick up more and more skills. Oh, I didn't know you could do it like that. And then say when you go to make a terrain, like a mountainous terrain. Okay, so you got your terrain. You could make a cube first. Okay, and then you can select. And then you can go into the options and then pick like a 3x3 row cube, then turns that cube into a patch, and then you can like stretch the patch out, and then you can use like double patch to like double the patch up to make it a bigger patch, and then you can start painting the patch. Or you can do what I do these days, which is just click on a face of a brush, right click, do faces terrain, and then you got your brush. Quickly double up, done. Seconds, no UI to look at, all done super quick. You know, no messing about. Save yourself a whole bunch of time with terrains. instead of going online trying to find a freaking awesome freaking like trim or like window or model or something like that, quickly bash one together in Radiant, use a tool to turn it into a model, make it really nice and really cool. Then all of a sudden, you turned it to a model. Now you got the model. Took you like 5 minutes, not like 3 hours of searching the internet for a great model. Maybe having to spend money, save yourself a whole bunch of time. These little life hacks, these little tips, tricks, things that you won't necessarily learn directly, you'll just pick up from experience. I'm going to save you more and more time and help you build better and better maps, okay? So just don't worry. It will all come to you in time. You don't have to be a Rene Picasso, okay, to be able to make something. You can start off, you're gonna make mistakes. It's fine. Okay, you're gonna have bugs, it's fine. You don't want, if you make a map that's huge, okay, like a city or like just several buildings, you're going to have so much to do that by the time you get to like halfway through the project, you're not going to want to finish. You're going to get fed up with it. You're going to get right towards the end and realize, oh, I've messed that up wrong. I've done that up wrong. You have to redo that. You have to redo all sorts of shit. Like, just don't worry about it. If you make something small, try and finish something small that will teach yourself all of the start, like from start to the end. That's great. Just don't worry about it. You know, you can make a map to whatever level of aesthetic you like, but just have a go at doing the whole thing and try your best to try and do, like, to try and make it everything we talked about here. And we will be going through all this in future lessons, so don't worry. I got you covered. You know, I'm going to talk about when you have to start adding in detail. Talk about when you add in sounds and when you can do this and when you know. Don't worry about, you don't have to think about everything at once. When it comes to planning your map, think about the size. Try and draw it, okay? So when you think about, okay, I want a Taco Bell, okay, and I want to have a kitchen on the back like this, okay, we'll have these as little tables, okay? So these are the tables around here. Okay, and then I'm going to think about, okay, as a clip, that means people aren't going to be able to walk here. Okay, that's cool. And they can't walk through these tables, but they can walk around them. Maybe they can't walk around those ones. Okay, so that means that the current playable space in this area looks like that green right there. Okay, that's cool. But actually, maybe there's too much room here for training. So let's put another table here. Okay, that's cool. So the table then comes out here. Okay, that's good. So now that's actually not somewhere they can walk. That looks a lot better. Nice. Like, yeah. So even, you know, where should we get zombies to come from? Maybe they come through this window here. That's cool. But okay, well, if they're only coming from that window, then if you camp like here, then you've got a lot of room from here to here where you can take down zombies. So maybe we need a window here as well, so that you can't just camp here. You got to sort of keep moving. Okay, that's quite cool. So we've got a door here going into the kitchen. So you got to draw out your map on paint. Okay, don't even open up the editor yet. Draw out a 2D layout of your map. And when you've got that layout done, okay, you got to think about where are the zombies going to come from, okay? You know, you want to make sure that they come out from multiple areas. You don't want to have or have them all on one side. You want to have it quite evenly distributed so that between where you are and where zombie are is not much room. The players, you know, panicking. Okay, so the spawns is important. You've got different types of spawns. Okay, you've got risers, okay, and you've got barriers. Okay, you've also got ceilings. You've got teleporting in, all these other different things. But your main two that you care about right now, risers and barriers. Okay. Number two, you got to think about the space, okay, and the area. So this green area here, okay, you got to think about two different things. One is, okay, you got to make it small enough to be difficult and fun. Okay, we've already talked about difficulty. Don't make it too big. And two, you got to make it big enough for pathing. Okay, so here's the next thing: zombies. Okay, require that everywhere you go has an absolute minimum distance of 32 inches, okay? So 32, is it like that for inches? Or is it like that for inches? I can't remember. Or I can just write inch. Yeah, I'm going to write that in a different color so it's a bit more readable. But yeah, you want to have at least 32 inches, okay? That is the bare minimum. I usually make sure I have at least 64, okay? So 64 is the magic number. The only time where you'd go less than 64 and maybe drop down to like a 48 minimum is in a small room with one door, like a cupboard, or maybe this kitchen, because there's a door going outside. So this kitchen, maybe you have a back door here, but this internal door you'd want to like have absolute minimum 48 inches. Because zombies are 32 inches wide, okay? So if you have a door that's 31 inches wide, players and zombies are 32 inches wide, they're not going to be able to go through it. They're going to get stuck instantly. They won't be able to know how to go through it. They're not going to try and walk through it. They won't be able to. So make sure your doors are 64, and at absolute minimum, you can drop down some doors to 48. Otherwise, you get issues where zombies will be knocking into each other and getting stuck, okay? So 64 or bigger. Generally, bigger is better, okay? So yeah, ignore 32. 32 is how big a zombie is and how big a player is. That's how big you want a door, okay? At least 46, sometimes, yeah, 64. If we look here, and you can actually go into models, you type in something like door frame, okay? For example, and if I chuck this in here, here's one door. If I chuck this one in here, okay, so we've got these two doors here. If we get Bob in here as well, so you can just show off this, for example. Okay. I don't think these doors are, they're not stock. They're not like your normal doors, but they'll probably adhere to it though. You see that door? A single door is 54, okay? That's quite small. So you don't want your main doors to be singular doors. You want to try and go for double doors. Most zombie maps will have a double door width, okay? Verruckt, spawn door, double door. Couch area, at least that's a double door width, okay? You do have the bathroom door, which is a single, but that's a rare nuance. And then the other bathroom doors are double. Then the kitchen door is double. Above the stairs is double. The stairs itself is like double. The other side of the stairs is double. Try and keep them bigger if you can. This one here, let's go. That's 120. Perfect. No problem with pathing there. Zombies are not going to get stuck, okay? So, yeah, make sure your door widths are wide enough. If you want to know more about widths and the standards, there are some, but there's not that many. If you go into your Call of Duty roots, okay, there's a folder called Doc Mod Tools, and then in here, you got all sorts of stuff, okay? One of them being scale standards, okay? And in here, it talks all about this. The width of a player is mainly made for multiplayer. It's not so much zombies, but you can see here, like the width here. That's the absolute minimum. You don't want any smaller than 54. Forget I said 48, because I sort of picked that number out of there. You want to have it, yeah, 54 is minimum. Bigger, better, okay? That's 50, that's the door, single door. 56, you want to have at least 56. Like, go back to what I was saying. You want it at least 64, okay? And only smaller if you have to because of the design. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting stats in here. Right. Going back to this. So the zombies is what you need to think about. And the space, okay, is what you need to think about. Don't worry too much in your initial design about where you're going to put perks or where you're going to put a Easter egg item or where you're going to have wall buys, okay? Because that sort of stuff you can design in quite easily when you're making the map, okay? That's not too bad. You can go and do that now, and I mean, it will help. You won't leave things out. It help you plan things a lot better. But I'm talking about the bare minimum here, okay? Yeah, your bonus is going to be where your perks are and where your wall bias are, okay? And where your Easter egg items are, okay? But you definitely want to have on your map you want to have where the building itself, okay? You have the building itself, and you want to have an example of where all the doors are, and then like if I just go here and I draw a say the car park looks like this. Okay, now let's draw that again. Car park looks like this. Okay, so that's the car park. And then you got another building here, maybe. So this here is a warehouse. Okay, and then maybe here behind the back you've got an alley here, and then you got like a bowling alley here or something. And then you got some other building here maybe, so it's like a shop or something. I don't know. But yeah, you got another alley here. You got to draw this out and think about it. Okay, so say we want the players to only go through like probably like that much of the map. How much can you block off? Try and block off as much as you can. Okay, so we got first of all we got a hedgerow in this car park, so you can't go through the hedgerow. And then we got some cars here. Okay, so we got some cars like this. Okay, maybe that's another car there as well. Cars here. Just draw it out so you know. Maybe there's a car like parked up on the curb there. There's another car just parked on the end, like at an angle or something. And then there's another car here. Okay, then maybe you've got like a truck that's overturned and blocks off there. Then sorry, I'll keep to the red like things here. That's a overturned truck here. You can label stuff as well so you won't forget. Okay, we're gonna get to all that later on, Matt. We've got a guide on everything later on. Say that we've got a broken light, so there's like all these lamps that's broken down there. Maybe this is a hedgerow on the back here as well, that leads up to the warehouse. We've got an orange door here. Yeah, use color coordination to help with the doors and stuff. Yeah, design this all out, and then you can look at this and you can think, okay, well at the moment there's quite a lot of pathway for training. Okay, so if I was a player and I was here, there's way too much room for zombies, you and zombies. So that's what I was talking about earlier. You can have more spawns, or maybe this car is on fire. Okay, so what that will do is you could then have fire that like means that all of this area here is harming for players. So that all of a sudden makes this whole area in like not as habitable. Okay, and then maybe have like, I don't know, you could have like a crashed bus into the corner of this into the corner of the Taco Bell. Okay, and all of a sudden that means that that is no longer part. That's all. Yeah, no longer somewhere players can walk. So you're restricting the room. Okay, so make sure that these distances between the shortest areas here as well, here and here, and make sure that distance between here and here are all that 64 inches or bigger. Okay, yeah, even here looks like too much, so you could put something else here. Maybe there's a bin here. Okay, so you got a little bin here and a bench. Okay, cool. Something else here. Maybe there's like a trolley there in the way, and there's another trolley there because of the warehouse or something, and another trolley there. So all of a sudden you've just made this space is uninhabitable and players have to go around it. So you've already turned this big area into a much more playable area, much more difficulty, and way better. Hey, how we doing, Steph? Welcome, Steph. Welcome to the stream. Hello. Great to see you as well, Mr. Shuffle. Welcome, Biotexture. We'll get to all that later on, materials and all of that. At the moment, we're doing planning your first zombies project. But welcome to the stream, Shuffle. This is a series. If you want to know more about the different things in the series, you can go to icegrenade.co.uk/school. Okay, that will show you what's what. So I should probably link. Yeah, do you know what I haven't done? Made these hyperlinks so you can go to the stream. I'm going to add that in so you can click on these and it'll take you to the video. But yeah, on my channel you can find these different videos. We've got the pilot episode, Welcome to Radiant. So just the first episode. Second one, block out and design, talking about block out, why it's important and helping with your design. Now we're on episode 2, say planning your first project. We've got many more episodes to come. This might change, might add more, might switch stuff up. So if there's something specific, like you just mentioned materials, that'll probably come into Ape. Actually, I think Ape will probably just be Ape itself. I probably will talk about materials a little bit there. I probably need to add that in, materials and detailing. Yeah. I'll probably stick in an episode somewhere like between 13 and 14 for that detailing. No, probably after the barrier, so about 16 maybe. But yeah, that will come. So I don't want to cover things, jump into things too much if they're not, if they're going to be talked about later on. But thank you for asking. So yeah, in terms of spacing, this is a really good way to do it. We've done the car park, we've done the alley. Sorry, we've done the Taco Bell area. But you want to do the same sort of thing, drawing out all the obstructions. In the warehouse, we got shelving like this. Okay, maybe we got a crashed over shelving that blocks that a little bit. Maybe this is all blocked up by some barrels. And then we got some more, like a pile of crap that's broken here. So, and then maybe there's an office there. So if we look at this warehouse, okay. So if I quickly okay, and then we want a door here, so maybe there's a door here in the warehouse. But if you quickly look and see where the playable area is, boom, there's quite a lot. It's quite long. Maybe you want to break that up. Maybe you want to have like a some sort of obstacle here that makes it more tricky. Slows them down, so it could be like an oil spill here or something. So this is passable, but it's gonna slow them down, be like a hazard. So yeah, I probably should have used that for that as well. So let me change that red there. Cool. So yeah, now that makes this area a little bit more interesting and a little bit harder. So there's not too much room. Glad to help, Shuffle. Yeah, man. Steph, I will tell Rami said hello. It's great to see you. And yeah, maybe we'll play some zombies with Rama soon. That'd be cool. It's great to see you, Steph. You're going back to work next month. Let's go. I think that's a good thing, right? Or is that not a good thing? It depends on your perspective, but I think it's a good thing, right? That's awesome. Coding for round change music. Helps so much. I'm glad you like it, Shuffle, dude. Yes, man. Binge watching. Awesome, dude. With the alley, same sort of thing, okay? I just lost my cursor there, so I went around looking for it. You can have bins in an alley, okay? You can have like a car that's on fire, maybe, and then have like maybe some like trash that's around here. Maybe that there's some toxic barrels that are spilt. So they're like causing this to be all hazardous. So yeah, that's all hazardous there. But then yeah, overall there's still too much playable area. So you'd want to have more places where players can't go. So maybe there's like what else do you have in an alley? Like I guess you could have like a gate here, maybe like some sort of gate. So have like gated a gated power supply thing, so that is no longer accessible. That kind of breaks up the alley quite well. Maybe you'd have it a little bit more broken up, more cars or more rubbish or something. But yeah, over here there's too much going on here. I've kind of walked through this enough, and we'll go and actually get into development to show you that planning. but that covers my point. Okay, when you are planning out your map, you want to design it in a top-down view. Okay, so you want to design down your map in a top-down view. So design the top-down blueprint, basically, a sketch of the map. Okay, so the map of it, the map basically. That's what you want to do. Okay, so yeah, you got an idea that you love. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of bugs or setbacks. You're new. It's fine. It's all good. You got to start small. Okay. Yeah, I haven't really put the pillars into this, so I will do that. But yeah, the pillars of map making, okay, is important. Make sure you know what the pillars are. Okay, the difficulty, the fun looks, the style, the aesthetics of it, the size and the depth of it. The other thing we haven't covered on that is bug free in the gameplay experience. Okay, when you're playing a map, there's nothing worse than like crashing every 5 rounds, or issues where you teleport and yours die, or zones that haven't been done right and players die from them, or Arnie's, where you pick up Arnie's and it steals your weapon, or dogs come and they don't spawn. Like, there's the weapon zero wall buy bug. All these bugs, okay, are things that you can fix easily with feedback, or going and doing simple checks to find out your pathing. Okay, you want to make sure that your map is as bug free as possible. Okay, it's really important. And yeah, we'll go through all these different steps. Okay, later on. Yeah, and this, I think the original naming I had for this pillar was optimization. Okay, I think that's what I used to call it. But it plays into it as well. So yeah, you want to make sure that it's optimized. Okay, so when you're playing the map, you want to make sure players have a solid 60 FPS. Okay, you don't want a supercomputer to be able to run the map. So that will be, you want to have, you don't want to, we'll get into this when we're making, but too much density, okay, of models and of textures and of things going on the screen. You want to make sure it's as light. Okay, so you want to have as light density as possible. Okay, there's different tricks and things you can do in the editor to help you design this, but yeah, one of the main things is, if you look at this model here, okay, this model here, if we're looking down like this, it shows on the screen the number of triangles in the bottom left corner right there. Currently, we're rendering 13,830 triangles. So if I've just copied that, it now shows 14,000. Okay, so that's gone up a bit. Okay, if we just copy that again, 14,100 now goes to 14,000. So that's 270 triangles rendering, 270 images that your graphics card is placing on in a 3D world on the screen. Okay, so you want to try and keep this try count as low as possible. Okay, so basically, if you've got a really high density model, and some of my custom ones definitely will be, so this bear maybe, oh, this guy here is going to be a lot. Okay, he's a high density model. Okay, he's not even that much, to be honest. You don't want to spam high density stuff. Okay, you want to keep it as light as possible. There's different things about the about optimization. We've got a whole series on optimization to go through, so a whole episode on optimization, and I think I'll leave it for then, because otherwise I'm going to end up talking for half an hour, on optimization. It is a topic that needs a whole episode for itself. So I'll leave it at that. That basically, when you're building a map, you want to make sure it's optimized. It runs smooth. It runs butter smooth, runs fast, and there's no lagging or hitching or issues there. bugs. You want to make sure you're not killing players by accident and doing all these things so that the overall playing is smooth and fast-paced and enjoyable. You don't want to have anything that will upset the player or annoy the player. So, yeah, that is the 4 pillars there of map making. So yeah, we talked about the 4 pillars. We talked about the ideas. Don't be afraid of bugs. Start small. The designing a top-down view of your map, which is really helpful. Okay, one thing that a lot of people. Okay, so a lot of people when they start off, they don't even bother with this. Okay, they don't bother making a map. Okay, they don't bother making a map. So Matthew 10, accept. Is anyone here called Banana Ron Sugar Tits? Anybody? I get some invites from some random ass names. Yeah, so you want to make sure that you do this, that you design your map, because there are so many people that don't bother to design their map like this, and they just start making it, okay? And what they quickly find is that they've spent 30 hours building their project, okay? And then they find a fatal problem. The way they've designed it means that no matter what, there's too much room, or it doesn't feel right, or it doesn't work out quite right. By designing your map like this, okay, and designing it on paper, you can do it on paper. Get a pen and pencil. If you prefer using pen and paper, you don't have to use like Microsoft Paint. You can use pen and paper. Sometimes it's better just get some paper and sketch out and pencil, you know? Do that. Yeah, because you'll quickly find issues and things that you wouldn't have thought about that you can then resolve and, you know, set before you even start making. Okay, so you might want to think about the vista. Okay, when you're standing in the map and you're looking out into the distance, what are you going to see? Okay, a bad map, a really beginner person is just going to put a giant brick wall on the outside that stops players from looking out. But I'm sorry, real life doesn't have gigantic brick walls that stop players from being able to look outside. Okay, you want to make it look like the world is real, that goes on forever. It's limitless. You know, when they look in the distance, it's just it's part of the city, part of the map, part of the area. So there's a lot of tricks in Vista. I think we probably make Vista into its own episode. But you can add mountains to break up the background. You can add fog to like reduce the background over a distance to help break that up further. You can use angles, so like low down areas to high up areas. You can use Vista buildings that are low poly buildings that allow you to place a lot more because they're much lighter and use less resources. Some of them are even just images in the distance. But the scaling of your model density, densities, different levels of detail of models is yeah, what will help you. A good example of where I've done this, and it's worked quite well, is probably the Viking Tower map. When you look in the distance, okay, to the untrained eye, it looks like, you know, the trees. I've just put like 1 million bloody trees in this map. Like, some people will look at this and they're like, hey, Ice, how the hell have you got 1 million trees? My computer can't render more than 100. I sit them down and go, hey, fuck you. No, I sit them down and say, it's all about LODs, my friend. Levels of detail, okay? You can have your juicy high poly trees near in areas that are right next to where the player is going to be. But you want to keep them really thin, really light. When I say thin, I mean not so many, okay? Because some trees will have like 50,000 different polys, okay? Different images that your graphics card is rendering. If you have too many of those, it's going to be a laggy nightmare. So you only want like one of those trees, or 2 or 3 at max. So close to the player, you can have high density stuff, but keep it light. Don't have too many of them. If you've got to have more higher poly, more complex models, try and have less of them. In the background, you can start using lower poly models, okay? until you get to the very back, which is over there. That's just an image. That's just a picture of trees. That's like there's two freaking triangles. That's absolutely nothing for your computer to render. So yeah, the scaling, and that's using fog as well to help hide that. But yeah, we've pretty much covered everything, I think. Let me try and think. So yeah, plan out your map, because you'll end up cutting, like, you know, if something doesn't look quite right, you know, delete it, think about something else you could add in there. And then, okay, well, actually, instead, I'd like to add like a bus station here with a bus route. And I think that'd be way better, you know. So try and redesign it and think about it, what it might feel like to play, and design your map. And then, yeah, when you've designed your map, and you're going to want to have some areas where you have some upstairs areas. So maybe over here in the alleyway, this is actually a staircase that goes up to upstairs. So yeah, have your levels, and you can literally make the upstairs area. So when you've like done this map like this, okay, paste it above it, and then just do the upstairs area. Okay, there's no upstairs in the car park. Okay, the warehouse is the same, but instead there's just gonna be maybe there's just a walkway up here or something where players can walk around or something, and then there's another room above the Taco Bell or something. But yeah, so you can just copy this, or you can just like start drawing just the upstairs. Okay, well, I know this building's here. This is the basic layout of the map. Okay, got the Taco Bells there. Okay, so for the upstairs area, I want to have a bed here, and I have some wardrobes here, and we'll have a bathroom here, and maybe there's like a little office there or something. I don't know. So you can start drawing out the multiple levels on a separate piece of paper next to it. So you've got your different levels. But yeah, when you've done that and you've designed your map, and you've we can talk about the size and the depth a little bit more. You do want to make something interesting, unique. You don't want to do the same thing. You don't want to try and copy someone else done. Try and make it really cool and exciting. It's something that's not been done before, because that's what people will love to see. They don't want to play the same map over and over again. They want to play interesting, new, different stuff. So yeah, when you've got your idea and you've drawn it out, and you've thought about how you can make it difficult, you can even think about an Easter egg on this map. But if it's your first map, like, Easter eggs is scripting, and scripting gets quite complicated quickly. You can try and keep it simple. There's some different simple things, and this plays into the whole fun like pillar. But yeah, you can keep it simple, and yeah, with that, I would say shootables. Okay, so I'm gonna write that out actually. But yeah, shootable. There's code for that, so you can shoot some stuff, and then you can get a perkaholic. That's a nice little Easter egg that anyone can use. My code's up there. Copy and paste, done. You know, code. Anyone can do that. Your soul collector is something else you can do. Also, the Bible ending, something else you can add in as well. And then you can do like reward doors as well to get through certain doors. There's even a challenge script that's out there to do like headshot challenge and all that. But this is just a few. Okay, this is the bare bones. As a new mapper, you can find take at least like 2 of these. You know, you definitely want a Bible ending. Maybe you want to do shootables, and you want to do a challenge script. That'll be great. Grab those, put those in your map. That'll be awesome. So yeah, when you get later on, you can make this list as long as your arm. Like, my list is probably like 40, 50 different features in a map. But you want something for people to do. Like, the aesthetics and the design of the map and the difficulty of the map is not good enough on its own. You probably want a few little extra things which like help, you know? So I got to let every little gamer start school on the 18th. Oh, devil. Oh, dude. Well, your kid's starting school. That's good, isn't it? That's a good thing. Start socializing, learn a bit more about the world. Also, you get a little bit more you time to spend doing what you want. Makes you appreciate them more. I guess I don't know. I don't have a kid, so I'm not I'm not ready for that. But yeah, man, you that's cool. I guess that's a bit like a bit. I can see a bit worrying or whatever. Single dad, fair play, man. Yeah, I don't know what to say. You might back me into a corner here. Check your maps again. I don't know what. Okay, let me do here. Subscribed items. No. Files I've published. How do I do friends? God, I've been on this a million times, but they haven't made it easy. Where's my friends items? Subscribed items. Items. Yeah, I'm not going to do that now. Do that another time. So yeah, we've planned everything out, okay, and yeah, that's pretty much it. That pretty much wraps up this episode. If anyone has done the last homework task of designing this flat, then let me know and we'll check it out. Otherwise, I might continue that on for the next episode. Plan this out and build me this. Do you know what? Scratch that. This episode, I'm going to ask you guys to plan out your map. Okay, it can be as harsh and ugly as you like. Okay, don't worry, you don't have to make it pristine. It's not going to be as beautiful as this piece of art. That was a joke. This looks awful, but yeah. Pen and paper's fine. Take a picture of your phone, put it on Discord. Send me a plan of your map. Okay, try and color coordinate it. See how I've done clips, like areas where people can't go in red, general walls in black, and green as passable area, orange as doors, and purple as hazardous areas, blue as the surrounding map outline. That is just the color code I picked. If you use your own color code, just let me know what the colors mean. And yeah, have a go. Oh, that's awesome, Devil. Hello, if you're watching. Good luck at school. I'm gonna try and keep this family friendly. um, yeah, see if she becomes big next game maker. Hey, if you like games, if you like playing games, you're probably gonna like making them. Like it's a pretty close odds. I mean, I'm biased because I just love it. Like I love making games, I love playing games. I was really a big gamer growing up, and the thought of making them was just insane to me. Like I thought it was awesome. So, so yeah, maybe that's what you want to do. It's quite hard, I guess, to know what you want to do in life, which is not a problem. Um, you just got to explore lots of things and find out what you like. So yeah, definitely have a go at it, and who knows, maybe you'll be making the next Call of Duty or the next Minecraft, and people are gonna love what you do. I think it's the best thing about gaming is at the end of the day, the product you make, the game you make, is something people enjoy and love to do. So you're bringing joy and love into people's lives, and it's better than a bank, because bank just brings. You're a banker, okay? Then there's a lot of people out there with money problems, financial issues, and the only reason they're going to be talking to you is because of their debt. And so that your job is probably not going to be that like heartwarming and enjoyable for that. So I wouldn't want to be a banker because of that. I mean, I guess the money would probably be quite good, but at the end of the day, I sat down and thought I want to do something that I'm going to enjoy in life, and because you spend when you get older, you spend 90% of your time. Well, okay, I'm picking a number out of there. Okay, picking a thin number out. But the percent depends on who you are as a character and what you want to do. But most people spend most of their time in life working. Okay, and if you're doing the job that doesn't make you happy and make you enjoy what you do and having fun, then then you're going to spend most of your time not having fun, which doesn't sound good to me. Okay, so you want to make sure your job is something you enjoy, or that you got something that pays you crazy money and it's not fun, but you can retire early and have lots of fun later on, or or not do it that much. Maybe like work part-time or something you don't enjoy, so that the other half of the time is something you can spend your money frivolously, do whatever you like. But yeah, how do you deal with creative fatigue? Switch it up, So when you're making a map, you could have you could be working on the Taco Bell room, and you could be working on designing a table and like designing the kitchen for like a whole week, and you're just fed up of seeing kitchens and tables. So forget the kitchen and the table, start building the warehouse, or designing the fire, or designing the sounds. There's so many different avenues in the development of the project that you never have to stay on one thing of the whole time. Come back to it. If you get too bored of the particular thing you're doing, or you're not enjoying it, replace it with something else, or just try and do something else at the time. You will come back to it with a fresh mindset, and you'll be able to go and do it. But yeah, the clip you just made. I don't see any clips or anything. Oh, what? Or the stream? Okay. How do you? So 31. Hey, thank you, Joey. Guys, if you have not smashed that like button, please hit that like button. Thank you, guys. 31 likes is awesome. It's great to see so many people here watching the development stream here, the Radiant School Live. So yeah, we're on episode 2. We've got a lot more to cover, and we will get there in time. So don't you worry, we're not going anywhere. Yeah, we're going to be talking about a lot more. The next episode, optimizing workflow and effective. I might switch that up. So, yeah, just come back to this this website, and it will show you the latest about what's going on. But yeah, for your homework task on this episode is design your own map. It can be paper. You can draw it. Get your felt tips out. Get your crayons out. Whatever you like. Whatever you want to draw it with, or Paint, Microsoft Paint, whatever you want to use. Even PowerPoint. You can go in PowerPoint if you like using PowerPoint. Visio, anything. Whatever your medium is, whatever you like to use, whatever's the easiest for you. Go and design your map, and design a small little map, and show the different area. Show where the zombies are going to come from. So we could do little blue. Okay, that doesn't show up that well. Let's use a darker blue. Little blue X's to say where the zombies spawn from, and then there's a little blue arrow to say that they come through the window, and then a little blue X here, and then blue X here. Maybe they all rise from here. Maybe they come from over here, but they jump over the barrier. So yeah, design your map and submit it to me. You can DM it to me. You can also go to the Radiant School Live Discord channel here, okay, and post it in here. We have changed the rules, so when you do join this server, it will give you a give you like no roles, and then you need to go over here to the roles and accept the rules, and then you need to go to rules here and say that you accept the rules. Okay. This is basically, got to be a nice person, and because we don't let like fools be in this server, because we're at the end of the day, we all got a life, and we all want to enjoy what we're doing. So this Discord welcomes all the good people. So yeah, zero tolerance for any bullies, or it's a safe environment for everyone. So yeah, try and keep it good. As soon as you've accepted the rules for the Discord, then you'll be able to see the channels, but you'll only be able to talk in general. Okay. To be able to talk more, just talk here, get to know people here. When you've spoken for like 5 minutes, you'll be able to, I think it's like 5 minutes or probably more, you get your Prestige 1 role. Okay. When you get your Prestige 1 role, boom, you're in. Okay. You can start talking absolutely everywhere. Okay. If we go down here and you're just a soldier, but you can't talk, let me try and find someone example. Colin, okay, I know Colin. Colin's not a bot. He's not. Well, I can manually upgrade him. Okay, so he's just been upgraded. You can ask me. Just ask me in general. can you upgrade me to prestige, please? I'll quickly boost you up to prestige 1, then you can talk on all the on the channels. It's just to stop bots from spamming malicious links in all of the channels. So yeah, if anyone's trying to sell you any Call of Duty hack or any what's the common one, Rainbow Six mod or skins or anything like that, then don't click on any links, okay, if they're like to some scam. Basically, there's a lot of scamming people. So yeah, talk in general, you get your rank and be able to talk everywhere. So you can see Local Baby's got that rank. Merchant is prestige 3, so you can talk. But yeah, come join the Discord. Lots of awesome people here. We actually have 1,386 members, okay. Lots of great people that you can share what you're working on. And yeah, like if you want any special roles, there's other roles here, so you can share. You know, if you're a mapper, a modeler, or a scripter, you can tell people by knowing, you know, that you're a role. 78 people have said they're a mapper. That's just people that said they're a mapper that have clicked on this thing. There's probably a lot more. We're probably talking like 500, I think, people that map, but just haven't asked for the role. By getting this role and getting these role, like the notification one and the streamer role, you can also post your own stream links in the self promo here. If you're going live, you can post here saying, hey, I'm going live. So that's another role you can get. But yeah, you can share what you're working on here. This is always cool to see. Look at this, man. Lil Mar. Dude, is that Ewok? Like an Ewok village. So freaking cool. This helps, yeah. It helps you see what people are working on. And yeah, it's really, really cool to see what people are doing with their project. Absolutely amazing. Look at all this. It's all work in progress stuff. So you can see what I'm working on. I usually post stuff I'm working on. See what Jute's working on here. Really cool, man. You can also, this is a place for you to ask them. You go to general and speak to them at Jute. Hey, man, I think this is really cool. Liking what you're doing. Yeah, it's a great place to collaborate and work with each other on different things. Showcase is cool as well. You can showcase what you finished making, what you've done. And this is really cool just to see what different things people are working on. Absolutely incredible. So yeah, if you have any help, anything specific to Radiant School Live, in the Radiant School Live channel, you just go here. You can ask for help. Hey, I'm stuck. You mentioned this in episode 2 or episode 1. I didn't quite know what you meant, but did you mean this? Or hey, this is what I've done. Have a look at my shed, or have a look at the flat I made, or have a look at the thing I've sketched out, the plan I've made for my map. Post it all in here. Or if you don't want to show everyone, if you're a bit shy, you can DM me and send it to me directly on Discord. Just say, can you add me, Ice, or whatever. I'll add you. Send me it on me on Discord, and I'll check it out there. And yeah, if you put it in Radiant School Live, you'll find that a lot of people here are really nice people. They'll give you feedback. They'll give you things that you can work on. We get rid of any toxic people. If anyone wants to trash talk, they're already gone. You know, they're gone. If you have any problems with anyone on the server and you don't want to confront them directly, just ask me, and I'll analyze it. I'll either speak to them, get to sort it out. And yeah, we keep this place. This place is awesome, man. It's literally the nicest server. Everyone's so cool to each other and collaborative and helpful. I absolutely love it. I'm going to keep growing this, man. We're going to keep building on this. It's going to be great. But yeah, it's great to see what people are working on. We should get people using this Radiant School Live more. But anything to do with this series, chuck it in here. It'd be great to see. But yeah, so that is pretty much it for today. Thank you all for joining me. If there's has anyone got any questions on their maps that they need any answers to? Any quick things we'll go through? One of the structures of the Radiant School series, okay, is what I will do actually before I do. Actually, I'll do this now. Actually, we'll go over here. Okay, is the time schedule. I think I walked through the time schedule before. Did I walk through it here? Yeah, so we've got the lesson structure up here. So that's the lesson structure right there. Let me paste that in there. So we've kind of gone on a little bit today, but the lesson structure is that 5 to 10 minutes talking about the intro, just me talking about what we're going to be talking about on the day, okay? Covering everything, revisiting anything we left, any stones unturned in the last episode. Yeah, and then there's the tutorial time. So this, I've pretty much talked for like 2 or 3 hours on this section today, talking about absolutely everything. And yeah, this will be pretty much everything we're talking about in that'll probably be the biggest part of the section. The lab session is anything you guys want help on, or any issues or anything, questions that you have about what we've talked about, or any of the maps you're making, anything that's relatable to this series, we'll go through and talk about together. And then the last section, I've kind of already discussed most of this. I've just talked about it just at the end there as well, was what we plan to do and review. So we haven't got anyone submitted anything for the last lesson. I was asking guys to build the block of flats. It was a little bit rushed at the end of the last episode, so I'm not too surprised that people haven't built these. So that's no problem. If you do want to have something to do and you don't want to plan out your map, then do have a go at that block of flats, you know. So maybe plan out your map if you want to have a go at making something, have a go at making these flats. Yeah, so now's the labs. We've pretty much covered everything here today. How can you explain how I should make a prefab for an existing prefab? Prefab for an existing prefab. If you've got, you can just make prefabs. Like if I do this as a prefab, save selected as new prefab, custom, and then I'm going to call it temp. I'm going to call it 2 doors, okay? So if you want to now add this into there, you could select both of those, right click, make a prefab, save selected as new prefab, and call it 3 doors. Okay, and now that's 3 doors as a prefab. When you stamp it, you got the other prefab there now, and that one separate. But usually what I would do is I would have the prefab, I would grab what I want to take in there, I would copy, delete, then I go into this prefab and paste, and then save, okay? Bear in mind the name is no longer correct, but go page up. Now I've got a 3 prefab. That's how you can add into a prefab. Literally, you can just grab whatever you want to put into an existing prefab, copy, delete, go into the prefab, paste, and then save. Or save as and save it as something new. If you're talking about going into a prefab, it's yeah, alt page down to go into prefabs. I mean, an alt page up to go out of prefabs. You can also right click and do prefab, enter prefab. You can also right click and do prefab, leave prefab. Okay, prefabs are like a tree. Okay, so you can go into one and then you can have more prefabs here. You go into those prefabs and they're like this, like a tree like this, and you can go to that prefab, you go to this prefab, and then whenever you leave a prefab, you go back 1 step, so you're back in this row. You go back 1 step, and you're in this row. That's how prefabs work. They're kind of like diving into what's a good synonym or whatever? Not synonym. Simile. Not too sure. Just different levels, like different hierarchies of stuff. So yeah, does that answer your question there? How should I make folders? For God's sake, yes, IceGrenade, you idiot. The prefabs are like folders. Thank you, Jules, legend. And of course, I've actually used that before as an explanation. But yeah, prefabs are like folders. Imagine folder, like prefab is like a zip folder that you don't have to zip and unzip. It's just a zip folder that you go in, you can have as many folders within folders as you like. So your house is an entire prefab, so that's your house, okay? Made windows that are prefabs, but I saved them separately while I'm in the house prefab. Yeah. And you can go into a prefab, and you can make this a prefab, don't worry about it. The fact you're inside a prefab doesn't matter. Forget about that. You know, prefab, save selected as new prefab, window. Okay. Okay. Now, when you look at this prefab, you know, you can see here it's a prefab. When you press N, you can see it's a MISC prefab. It's a MISC prefab, and the model or the path in this case is the window. It's a window. You know, if we go out of this prefab, okay, would you like to save? Yeah, sure. It's just because we changed it from a window to a window prefab. I can go into prefabs now, okay, and reload that and type in window. And if we go to custom temp window, drag that in, and I think it's moved over here. Yeah, because in that prefab, the Z index is going to be somewhere completely different. So let's go down there. Yeah, when you're going in and out of prefabs, the origin of your prefab might not be the origin of the world you're in or the prefab above it. So just bear that in mind. When you're making prefabs to be used in the level, like models to be placed around everywhere, you usually want to set the prefab at 0, 0, 0. So like in this window prefab, like this window is not at 0, 0, 0. So you want to zoom out until you can see the middle. Usually there's like a little blue cross thing. And then you paste it here. So it's like on the 0 axis. Look out, 0 here on the ruler, 0 here on the left here. Go in. That is the absolute center of the graph. Okay, now that prefab is in the center. I use the paste things, the Control Alt middle click to move it around, you know. So yeah. And that window is now at the center, but it has also moved away from that building, which is fine though. I can go back to getting that window here. But what that means is now when I paste that window, it's going to paste where I put it, because when you paste models, it pastes the origin, you know, of that model. So yeah, that's set it inside NC info. You can't really do that to a brush though, can you? So in this prefab, and this prefab is just a brush, you can't set it to 0. But yeah, if it's a model, your prefab's got a model in it. That's a good point. You can go to entity info and you can go here to the origin and you can set those all to 0s like that. And now it's set at 0. So anytime you're like making a bunch of prefabs, models within a prefab, you can set the origin inside the entity info to align it. Yeah. Cool. So when I load up my house prefab, it will also load up the other prefab inside it. Yeah. Yeah, like it will always load up things inside things. So the only reason that window went is because I changed the origin of it. It's still there somewhere. Like if I go into it and then now look for that window, it's just like ran away over here because I changed the origin. I can put that back like there. Oh, but then I changed the actual brush as well. But yeah, there's the window. Back. Go back out. So yeah. Cool. So I think we've covered everything. I'm going to wrap it up here. Usually I will leave a little bit more room for solving people's problems here. What you say from the... Oh yeah, eye fatigue. Something else. Yeah, you can get like glasses that help with eye fatigue. Yeah, just turn the brightness down a little bit. So spend more, like, less time at the PC. But yeah. So yeah, usually we'll have the lab session a little bit more, but we spent a bit more time today doing the whole tutorial time. But yeah, so your task once again is to design your layout for your first map and send it to me on Discord or in the Radiant School live channel. If you complete that and you've got one more to do, or you don't want to build a thing, like design your map, you can also build build this block of flats. Cool. Well, that wraps it up. Thank you all for joining me today, everyone. Let's end it with some music. Yeah, everyone. It's been a pleasure. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for all the love and support. And yeah, hopefully that has helped you plan your map a little bit better. I'm going to copy this and paste this into the Discord. And then I'm going to also copy the specific sections as well. So if you want a slightly higher res example for anyone that's wanting those. But yeah, join the Discord. The link's in the description. If you have any questions about this, if you're watching this back, do write a comment. Do my best to answer. I'm going to try and cut this down into a smaller video. But you guys have been amazing. So thank you so much for making this incredible. Appreciate you guys. You guys are legends. If I make that a dark material, you can probably see me a little bit better when I end this. Have a great night, everyone. Yeah, don't forget to smash that like button. Thank you if you have already. And yeah, hopefully that taught you guys how to plan your first map out. So congratulations, everyone. You've done it. Well done, everyone. Well freaking done. Thank you again, every single one of you.
Thank you very much.
Legends.
Thank you very much, brother.
Thank you very
Legend.
much.
Absolute legends. I'll see you guys on the next one, eh? It's been good. It's been good. Yeah, man. Yeah, they're the wrong sounds there, but I need more happy sounds. But yeah, basically those, I think. Legends. See you guys later. Have a great one. I'll see you on Wednesday. Back at 5:30 on Wednesday. We'll see if I can get Rama to play. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Get Rama playing some zombies. Been a little while. Maybe we'll play some zombies. Maybe we'll work on the JME projects. We've got lots to do on that. So yeah, gonna get some food now. So yeah, see you later. Have a good one. Goodbye.